You have no right! Do you know who my father is?
You did this to Ellie. Now you'll answer.
Maya Torres stepped out of the rented SUV beside Everglen's small city hospital. After many years in military intelligence, she had come back to her hometown under troubling circumstances. Her niece, Ellie, a 20-year-old, was lying here with severe injuries after a strange accident at the Silver Crown Resort. The cold mountain air slapped Maya's face as she shut the car door, but what sat on her heart was colder still worry and anger. In the hospital corridors, Maya quickly found Ellie's room. Her niece's pale face stood out against the white pillow. Her head was bandaged, and her right arm was in a cast. Hearing the door open, Ellie turned her head. Her eyes shone with tears, but when she saw her aunt, she exhaled in relief for a moment. "Maya," Ellie whispered in a frail voice. Maya walked in without a word and hugged her niece carefully, trying not to catch the Roman 4 lines. She could feel Ellie trembling. "I'm here," Maya said softly. "Tell me what happened." Ellie winced and closed her eyes as if mustering the strength to go on. Her voice shook. "That night I was working late at the Silver Crown. There was a party in the banquet hall. Trevor Clark came in with his buddies. She swallowed, fighting back tears. He handed me a cocktail and said it was a little bonus after my shift. I never imagined there could be anything in it." Maya felt anger boil inside her, but she held it down, gently squeezing Ellie's hand in support. Ellie continued, a little steadier now. "I remember getting drowsy. My head was spinning. Then he led me down a service corridor, away from the guests. I could barely stand. After that, there are gaps. I remember scraps." Ellie shuddered. "I tried to push him away, but my body would not listen." Maya clenched her jaw to keep from revealing her fury. Ellie cried quietly, then went on. He whispered disgusting things. I was half conscious. Then a security guard, Cole Mercer, showed up. At first I thought he would help, but no." Ellie gave a bitter, tear-streaked smile. "Cole," she broke off, but Maya understood what her niece meant. "I remember coming to for a few seconds out of sheer fear. Cole was dragging me somewhere up a metal stairway. There was a catwalk or a maintenance gallery overhead. I started to struggle." Silence settled over the room, broken only by the soft beep of the heart monitor. Maya smoothed Ellie's hair back from her damp forehead. "Was it an accident?" she asked quietly, though an icy rage edged her voice. "That's what they said," Ellie whispered. "When I woke up here at the hospital, they told me I must have fallen on my own. Supposedly I slipped, but I know someone helped me fall." Ellie was anxious. The monitor ticked faster. Maya laid a calming hand on her shoulder. "Easy. I believe you, and we'll prove it." Ellie sighed bitterly and closed her eyes. A tear slid down her cheek. "No one believed me, Maya. They say there's no evidence. They took my blood, and they found nothing." Maya frowned. If Trevor had slipped something into her drink, it had to be a strong drug. Why had the blood work shown nothing? "What about the police?" she asked, though she already suspected the answer. Ellie opened her reddened eyes. Fear and hopelessness mixed in her gaze. "The sheriff came and took my statement. But, again, no security cameras, no evidence. They say the cameras just happened to be down. And Trevor said he never even saw me that night. The owner's son, they believed him more than me." Maya barely kept from cursing out loud. A foul picture was coming together. "Don't worry," Maya said, her voice firm. "I'm not letting this go. I promise we'll get to the truth." Ellie nodded weakly, closing her eyes again with exhaustion. Maya stood, adjusted the blanket over her niece one more time, and headed for the door. Her heart pounded with adrenaline. Out in the hallway, a young man in paramedic scrubs stood near the door. He gave Maya a hesitant look. His badge read Noah Burke. "Excuse me, are you Ellie's aunt?" he asked quietly. "Yes." Maya stopped, surprised. "And you are?" "My name's Noah. I was on the call that night when Ellie fell," he explained. He looked troubled. "I'm glad she's going to be all right. She's a very sweet girl." "Thank you for saving her," Maya said sincerely. Noah scratched the back of his head, as if embarrassed by something. Then he spoke softly. Miss Torres, may I talk to you for a minute? Maya nodded, and they stepped a little farther from the room so they would not disturb Ellie. Noah spoke in a low voice. Something was off that night. I run calls like this a lot, but Ellie, she had symptoms like she'd taken something. Slow pulse, low blood pressure, confused consciousness. Signs that were kind of consistent with you know what I mean. I told the staff and the officer who came in. I asked them to check for other substances in the blood. Ellie said the tests showed nothing, Maya said, tensing. Noah exhaled and lifted a shoulder. Yeah, zero. Honestly, it shocked me. Either they ran the wrong panel or the sample got swapped. But is that even possible? He spread his hands, helpless. It's possible if someone really wants it and has the influence, Maya replied quietly. Thank you for telling me. That matters. Noah nodded, his face drawn. There's one more thing I saw. When we brought Ellie in and the surgeons took her to immobilize the fractures, there was this man. He said he was a resident and that she'd be transferred to a specialty clinic in Denver. Supposedly the resort would cover it because they had better conditions there. That surprised me. Usually you do not transfer that fast when the patient is unstable, and the resident looked unfamiliar. And then Maya felt a cold settle inside her. We had to return to the station, so I left. Then in the morning, I learned Ellie was never transferred. She stayed here. That means the man was an imposter. A nurse said he disappeared the moment they started asking questions. It was really strange. I thought you should know. Maya leaned back against the hallway wall, absorbing what she had heard. She took a slow breath to steady herself and looked at Noah. Thank you, Noah. What you told me is very valuable. He gave a sad little smile. I just want justice. I've seen a lot as a paramedic, but this is the first time I've felt it wasn't just an accident, it was something worse, and everyone's keeping quiet. Not everyone anymore, Maya said, her voice turning hard as stone. I won't let this slide. Will you help me if I need you? Noah nodded without hesitation. Of course. You can count on me. Maya squeezed his shoulder in gratitude. Good. I'm assembling a team. She said goodbye and walked quickly toward the hospital exit. Her heart hammered anger, fear, determination all swirling together. If the system, the police, the resort's leadership, maybe even some medical staff had decided to bury this crime, she would see it through herself. Maya pushed open the door of the Everglades County Sheriff's office. The small room with wood-paneled walls and photos of hunting trophies looked empty and quiet. A receptionist stood behind the counter and arched a brow at Maya's stern face. Is Sheriff Becker in? Maya asked directly. The receptionist nodded and motioned for her to wait. But Maya had already noticed a door ajar with a plaque that read Sheriff Roy Becker. Without wasting time, she walked straight in and entered without knocking. Behind the desk sat a broad-shouldered, older man in uniform. He looked up, surprised by the audacity. Ma'am, he began. I'm Maya Torres, aunt of Ellie Reeves. She introduced herself firmly. My niece, who was nearly killed a few days ago at the Silver Crown. The sheriff drew his bristly brows together. Torres, yes, I remember. We're investigating that incident, Miss Torres. I'm sorry your niece was hurt, but there's no basis at present to consider it anything other than an accident. Indignation rose in Maya at the man's calm tone. An accident, she repeated. That was an attempt on her life, not just a fall. The sheriff shook his head and sighed. Miss Reeves was very disoriented. First she said one thing, then another. The doctors say she had a concussion and possibly pain-induced hallucinations. The blood tests did not show foreign substances. Surveillance did not capture the incident. There were electrical issues in that wing. And there are no direct witnesses. There is a witness, Maya said, steady. She is her own witness. And who knows, maybe some employees saw something. Did you look for them? Did you interview every staff member on duty that night? The sheriff narrowed his eyes, and his look grew more severe. We spoke with security and several workers. No one corroborates your niece's account. The guard, Cole Mercer, said he found her after the fall and called 911. Others say they saw her walking down that corridor on her own beforehand. Everything points to her likely slipping on a wet floor and falling from a height, a tragic chain of events. In those last words, Maya heard the rote cadence of a line someone had already fed him. She clenched her fists. "Are you serious?" Her voice trembled with fury. "Ellie's been gravely injured and says she was attacked. Why do you believe the Clarks and their security so easily, but not her?" Sheriff Becker raised his voice too, leaning forward. "Listen, Miss Torres, I understand your emotions, but I do not have evidence of a crime. No video, no lab results, no witnesses who back her up. What we do have is an influential Clark family that does a lot for this community. You want me to accuse their son based on the words of a girl in shock? It is not that simple. And if it's true, you'll just let them get away with it?" Maya hissed. The sheriff leaned back and looked at her coldly. "Careful there, Sergeant." He deliberately used the rank she had not mentioned, which made Maya bristle. Clearly, he had already run a check on her. "You're not in the army and not on a battlefield. This is civilian life. There is a process. If new evidence appears, we will consider it. For now, go get some rest and let us do our job." Maya realized further argument was pointless. She gave the sheriff a scorching look. "Your job. From where I stand, it looks like you are not doing it." She spun on her heel and stormed out, the door banging shut. Her breath came short with rage and helplessness. In the lobby, a young man with a notebook stood up from a bench. He had clearly heard the end of the exchange. "Miss Torres," he asked carefully. "Maya Torres, right?" She glanced at him. About 30, lean, with reddish hair and a beat-up leather jacket. A press credential hung from his neck. The name read, Sam Norris. "Who's asking?" Maya replied warily. "I'm Sam Norris, a reporter with the local paper. I'm covering the incident involving Ellie Reeves and the Silver Crown Resort. I can see the sheriff was not helpful. He was not helpful to me either," he said with a crooked half-smile. "Maybe we should talk. I think we share the same goal, finding the truth." Maya swallowed the tight knot of emotion and nodded. "Fine, but not here." They stepped from the stuffy office into the fresh air. A small square lay in front of the building. Maya walked along the path, a little away from the doors. Sam kept pace. "I'm listening," she said curtly, stopping in the shade of an old spruce. Sam looked at her intently. "First, I'm very sorry for what happened to your niece. I'm glad she's alive. I'm trying to piece together what happened that night. But I keep hitting a wall of silence. The police are tight-lipped. The report is bone dry. At the resort, they say only that Ellie was at fault, supposedly violating safety protocols. Anonymous sources claim the cameras shut off right then because of a power surge." "Just a coincidence?" Maya said, dry as dust. "Maybe, but a little too convenient. Someone also hinted there was no outside interference, and that I'm wasting my time. Last night, I got a call from someone who didn't give a name, advising me not to tarnish the reputation of decent people." "Was that a threat?" Maya asked. "More like a warning. Polite, even. But it only convinced me there's something dirty here," Sam shrugged. "You were in the military, right? You know how to read lies. My nose says the Clarks are sweeping up." Maya pressed her lips together. She sized Sam up quickly, honest eyes, a little nervous, but determined. She could risk trusting him. She summarized what she knew. Sam took careful notes, occasionally asking for details. "This is serious," he said at last, closing his notebook. "If it's all as it looks, we've got a conspiracy of several people. Trevor himself, security, maybe the resort's management. But without evidence, you know how it is." "I know," Maya sighed. "Do you have ideas?" Sam rubbed his chin. "I think we need insiders. Someone on the Silver Crown staff who knows more. I do have one contact on background. A worker said he saw the head of security, Lindsay Harper, personally reviewing the footage from that night, then ordering the techs to reboot all servers for maintenance. We both know why. The techs might have kept backups, Maya suggested. Sam shook his head. All the gear is under Harper's control. She's a former police detective, by the way. Knows what she's doing. If backups existed, they probably got wiped too. But we have to look. Maya filed it away. Lindsay Harper, head of security, former detective. Anything else? She asked. I heard about Martha Diaz, a dishwasher. She's the one who called 911 that night, I think. Maybe she saw something but is afraid to talk. Noah, the paramedic, mentioned a call from Martha too, Maya said, remembering his words. Right, this morning I tried to speak to her, but she refused. She was crying and said she knew nothing. I suspect someone leaned on her. Martha needs support, Maya said. If we make her feel safe, she might tell us. Sam nodded. I can set up a meeting out of town so we don't attract attention. I still have her number from yesterday. She might agree if you'll be there too. Good, Maya said. Call her. Sam tapped out a message to Martha asking for a meeting. Then he looked up. One more question. What's your next move? Do you have backup? I do. Besides you and Noah, there's someone else I trust. Marion Glover, a retired judge. She's known me since I was a kid. I want her advice on the legal levers. Oh, Marion, sure, Sam smiled. She's retired, but people call her the strict grandma with principles. If she's on our side, that's good. She already is, Maya said. Let's do this. We meet tonight at her house, all of us. Invite Noah too. We'll make a plan. Sam nodded. I'm in. Martha just replied, she'll meet me after work this evening, around 8, at the diner on the edge of town. Maybe you should come too. Of course I will. Then first the judges, then Martha. That evening, 4 people gathered in the cozy living room of Marion Glover's house. Around a wide oak table under an old chandelier sat Maya, Sam, Noah, and Marion. A kettle sang on the stove, spreading the scent of herbal tea. But the mood was taut. Everyone understood the gravity of what they were discussing. So here's the picture, Marion said, summing up what she had heard from Maya and Sam. There is reason to believe a crime was committed against Ellie Reeves, and the resort leadership is hiding it. Suspects: Trevor Clark, Cole Mercer of security, possibly the head of security, Lindsay Harper, and someone in the medical chain helped with swapping out a test. I agree. Our job is to gather evidence, Maya nodded. If we hand it to the sheriff, he'll probably smother it. So we may need to go straight to the district attorney or even the FBI. To reach out, you want something in your hands, Marion shrugged. Ideally video, audio, documents, and witness testimony. Ellie's statement exists, but it's not enough, Sam said. We need independent witnesses. Martha could be one if she saw anything. What about inside evidence from the resort? Noah asked. Like surveillance logs, internal reports, the security radio traffic from that night. Radio traffic, that's interesting, Sam noted. If security was coordinating, they might have said something on the air, but keeping recordings is tough unless they're archived on a server. What if we listen in live? Maya suggested suddenly, a glint of eagerness in her eyes. I've got an old radio scanner I brought along. We can tune to their frequency if we find it. Is that illegal? Noah asked cautiously. Let's say, not exactly legal, Marion waved it off. But if it's not for publication and the goal is to prevent a crime, it's arguably defensible. I did not hear this and I did not say it, she added with a wink. Sam checked the time. For now, the plan is, we'll meet Martha and try to find out what she saw. Then we decide next steps. I suspect we'll need someone inside the resort undercover. I have someone in mind, Maya said quietly after a brief pause. A friend from military intelligence, an ace at covert work. She's freelance now. I can try to bring her in. That would be good, Marion said approvingly. It's easier to learn their moves from the inside. What about safety? Noah asked. If the Clarks sense exposure, they might do anything. Maya looked at the young paramedic and said seriously, "That's why we act carefully and stick together. If Martha agrees to speak, she'll need protection. We'll make sure she has it." They talked for another half-hour details about configuring the scanner, who would pull which documents, how to reach investigative contacts if needed. Finally, they broke up. Maya and Sam would head to the diner to meet Martha, Noah back to his shift with a promise to stay on call, and Marion would prepare copies of everything they already had so that, if necessary, it could go to the press or to attorneys. Maya thanked each of them. She felt it. A team of people who gave a damn had come together. Each had a reason to help Ellie and restore justice, and now they all so different in training and experience were working as one. As she and Sam got into the car to drive out toward the diner, Maya said, "Crisp, it's going to get more dangerous from here. I hope you understand that." Sam started the engine and looked at her. "I do. But if not us, who?" Maya turned her gaze to the dark sky beyond the windshield. Lightning flickered somewhere over the mountains. A night storm was moving in. She answered quietly, "Then it's us." The roadside Grizzly Diner glowed with a neon sign against the dark highway. It was late. Almost no customers remained. Maya and Sam sat in a corner booth, waiting for Martha Diaz. Coffee steamed on the table, but Maya barely touched hers inside. She was knotted with impatience and worry. Sam glanced at the door now and then. At last, movement. A short woman in a blue hooded jacket slipped into the diner. She looked around, spotted Maya, and approached shyly. Her face was drawn, with dark circles under her eyes. Clearly, she had hardly slept for days. Maya scooted over to make room. "Martha, good evening. I'm Maya, Ellie's aunt." "We spoke on the phone," Sam added, so she would know who was who. Martha nodded and sat down, nervously twisting the edge of her jacket with both hands. "Gee, good evening," she stammered. She looked at Maya. "How's Ellie?" "Better," Maya answered gently. "She's lucky you called for help." Martha dropped her gaze. I could not do otherwise," she whispered. Her eyes welled. Maya set a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Martha, thank you. You saved her life. I know you're scared, but we want to see justice done. Could you help us by telling us what happened that night?" Martha shook her head quickly, wiping her eyes with a sleeve. "And no, I can't. They already questioned me. I said I didn't see anything." "Who questioned you? The police?" Sam asked. "No," she said. "The head of security, Lindsay Harper. She gathered us early in the morning after they took Ellie. Everyone from the night shift. She said there'd been an unfortunate incident and that we had to keep our mouths shut so we wouldn't shame the resort. Then she went up to some of us personally, to me too." Martha gulped. She asked what I'd seen. I told her nothing, only that I found Ellie after she was already down. She looked at me and told me not to tell anyone if I valued my job. Maya and Sam traded a look. Maya asked softly, "What did you actually see?" Martha bit her lip, obviously wrestling with herself. At last, with a heavy sigh, she gave in and began to speak quietly, eyes on the tabletop. "I was cleaning the kitchen. It was already past midnight. I heard footsteps and voices in the corridor that leads to the service stairs. It's right by the kitchen. I peeked out. I saw Mr. Trevor Clark. He was pulling Ellie along by the arm. She could barely walk, like she was drunk or sick. I was surprised, because earlier on her shift, she'd been perfectly fine. Trevor glanced back and told me, 'It's okay, Martha, she's just tired.' But it didn't look that way. Ellie tried to say something, but her tongue was heavy. Trevor took her up the narrow metal stairs to the maintenance gallery above the banquet hall. I know employees are not supposed to go there, only the tech crews, and only during the day." Maya noticed Martha's hands were still shaking. "Did you follow them?" she asked gently. "At first, no," Martha whispered. I was scared. He's the owner's son. But something felt wrong. I waited a minute and then went after them, quietly up those stairs. It was dark, just a red emergency bulb glowing. I heard crying. I followed the sound. I saw them at the far end of the gallery. Martha covered her mouth with a palm as if the memory physically hurt. I wanted to step in, but someone grabbed my shoulder. It was the guard, Cole Mercer. He hissed at me to get out and mind my own business. I got scared and ran back down to the kitchen. "You didn't see anything else?" Sam asked carefully. Martha hunched, holding her breath. Then she exhaled. After a few minutes downstairs, I heard a loud crash. I ran into the corridor. Other people came, too, the cook, another server. We wanted to call an ambulance, and then that same guard, Cole, and Miss Harper appeared. Harper immediately sent everyone back to their stations. She said she would handle it. But I already had my phone in my hand. I managed to dial 911 when she wasn't looking. "You did the right thing," Maya said quietly. "Cole tried to take my phone when he realized I was calling," Martha went on. "But it was too late. I'd already given the address. He cursed and shoved me. And Harper, first she got mad, then she told Cole the call is logged. They pretended to be concerned. Harper even went to the gate to meet the ambulance." "What happened then?" Sam asked, jotting down every word. "They took Ellie. Only one patrol unit came, and they hardly asked us anything. Harper spoke to them privately. We workers were sent home. In the morning, they called us back. Well, I already told you. I understood they were going to frame it as an accident." Martha lifted her eyes and, for the first time, looked straight at Maya. "I was scared. I have 2 kids, and my husband's out of work right now. I cannot lose this job, and if the Clarks find out I talked, they're the kind of people who can do anything." Maya sighed and took Martha's hand in both of hers. "I understand. You were scared, and you have a lot to lose. But believe me, you are not alone. We won't let them hurt you." Sam bowed his head slightly in respect. "Martha, your account is very important. Without you, the truth might stay buried. We are not asking you to go to the police this minute. But maybe, when we gather more evidence, you'll give an official statement. We'll be right beside you." Martha dabbed her nose with a handkerchief. She was silent for several long seconds. At last, she murmured, barely audibly, "If you truly protect me, I'll testify." Maya nodded in relief. "Thank you. That's brave. We'll do everything we can to keep you safe. For now, no talking to anyone about what you told us. Not even those closest to you, all right? This stays between us." "All right," Martha agreed, her shoulders slumping as if a weight had been lifted. Sam slid a sheet of paper to her. "I've written down what you said in my own words. Would you review it? If it looks accurate, please sign. It's unofficial, but it gives us a record of your account in case anything happens." Martha flinched at the last words, but took the pen. With a trembling hand, she signed at the bottom where Sam had marked an X. "It's just a precaution," he said gently. Martha nodded. Tears still glimmered, but now they were tears of relief. "Thank you. I've been so scared these last days. Now at least I know I'm not alone." Maya hugged her lightly. They paid for the coffee and walked out together. A soft rain had begun. Sam offered to drive Martha home so she would not go alone. Maya agreed it was safer. "Be careful," Maya told Martha as she climbed into Sam's car, "and keep us posted if anything happens." "I will," the woman said quietly. Sam lowered the window. "You good, Maya?" "I'll stay a bit," Maya said. "I have something to check. I'll text when I'm home." In truth, Maya had a plan. When Sam's car vanished into the dusk, she pulled her phone from her pocket. In the thickening rain, she dialed a number she had not used in a long time, but still knew by heart. "Hey," she said into the receiver over the downpour. "I need your help. Yes, right now. It's risky work. You always wanted to try Colorado. Well, here's your chance." A short pause on the line, then a woman's voice answered in the affirmative, pleased. Maya nodded to herself. "Come as soon as you can," she said, giving an address. "Details on arrival, and thank you, Rachel." When she ended the call, Maya slipped the phone away. At dawn the next morning, there was a knock on the door of Marion Glover's house. Maya opened it to find a woman on the porch in a ball cap and track jacket with a duffel over her shoulder. Rachel compact, strong, a brunette with a sharp gaze. Maya's former colleague had arrived before daylight, just as promised. Almost got lost in this Everglen of yours, Rachel grinned as she stepped inside. Dark, mountains, rain dumping down. Extreme from the get-go. Good to see you, Maya said, hugging her hard. Thanks for coming. Over coffee in the kitchen, Maya brought Rachel up to speed. Rachel listened intently, nodding now and then. So here's the plan, Maya summed up. You need to get hired at the Silver Crown under a cover identity. We were thinking housekeeper or server least vetting. Housekeeper is better, Rachel agreed. I've run that legend before. Want me to dust off my college-level Spanish accent? No need, Maya smiled. There are plenty of Latino workers at the resort already. Just be yourself with a different name. Already picked one. I'll be Susan Miller from Kansas, Rachel winked. And I've got matching paperwork. Marion, who had joined them, nodded approvingly. I called a contact early this morning. They happen to have a housekeeping opening after a recent departure. They'll expect you for an interview at 10 o'clock. Rachel arched a brow. You work ahead of the curve, Your Honor. Just Marion, she smiled at the corner of her mouth. I make a few educated guesses. This time I guessed right. Perfect, Maya straightened. So, Rachel, sorry, Susan, you'll go inside. Primary objectives: learn their schedules, security rotations, and where they might keep evidence, the server room or archives, for example. If you can, pull copies of documents, snap photos of logs, anything incriminating. We also need their radio frequencies. Got it. Give me a day or two and I'll have info for you, Rachel said, confident. By afternoon that same day, Susan Miller was officially hired as a housekeeper at the Silver Crown. With a blend of charm, forged references, and quiet persistence, Rachel convinced the manager she was the perfect fit. By evening, she had moved into the staff dorms near the resort's main building. The first day passed without incident. Under a head housekeeper's eye, Rachel cleaned rooms diligently and observed. She discovered Lindsay Harper's office on the basement level, next to the server room and the security office. All those doors had electronic locks. That evening, she phoned in her first updates using a burner phone. Maya, Sam, and Noah gathered at Marion's to listen on speaker. So Harper keeps everything locked down on the basement level, Rachel reported in a low voice. You need access cards to get in. I don't have one, obviously. But I noticed one of the janitors sometimes gets let in to tidy up when Harper's out. I think I can borrow her card tomorrow on a cleaning pretext. Be careful, Maya warned. If the card goes missing, alarms will blow. I'll just clone the stripe, Rachel assured her. I've got an RFID reader on me. I'll copy it and return it fast. She won't notice. Maya glanced at Noah and Sam. Rachel's technical dexterity impressed them. What about the radios? Sam asked. Security's using standard Motorola handhelds, Rachel said. They rotate frequencies weekly. This week, they're on channel 5 of the LMR subband. The exact frequency is approximately 462.475 megahertz. No encryption guess, they think it's quiet out here. Noah wrote it down immediately and began tuning the scanner Maya had brought. Great, Sam said. We can monitor their chatter. Just keep a low profile, Rachel cautioned. If they sense it, they'll switch channels. Understood, Maya said. The next day brought more wins. Rachel managed to clone the access card and slipped into the server room while Lindsay Harper was at a meeting. Quick as a blink, she plugged a thumb drive with a special program into a workstation and downloaded several gigabytes of data, camera access logs, an archive of internal executive emails, including Harper's messages. One of the latest had been sent by her the night of the incident to Ridgway Clark. Emergency. Your son created a serious problem. Everything will be clean by morning. Details in person. Rachel sent a copy of that email to Sam's secure inbox. When he saw it, Sam almost whistled at Harper's brazenness. Now they had direct proof of a cover-up. The head of security had reported to the owner about sweeping up. "That's enough to come at them for real," Marion said with satisfaction as they all read the email on her laptop. "With this, the district attorney will sign warrants." "Let's press a bit further," Sam said. "Let's try to nail down physical evidence, too." "Rachel and I plan to go in tonight," Maya said. "She'll leave a service door unlatched and temporarily knock their video offline. With the cloned card, Noah and I will go inside and grab whatever else we can. A video server, maybe the glass Ellie drank from, if they haven't trashed it." Noah lifted his brows. "You think we'll find the glass after these days?" "You never know," Maya shrugged. "If not that, then something else." "Okay," Noah nodded, checking his flashlight's batteries. Fit and cool under pressure, he had volunteered to go with Maya because he could render aid if things went south. "Sam, you'll stay here on the radio and be our wheelman if we have to bolt." "Copy," Sam said, adjusting the scanner. Maya packed a small rucksack with essentials. Late that night, with the silver crown tucked into sleep, stray shadows slipped along the service fence. The evening's rain had finally eased, leaving a mist hugging the mountain ridges. Dressed in dark clothes, Maya and Noah climbed the low fence where Rachel had marked a camera blind spot earlier. Sam idled in the SUV on a side street on the radio. Rachel lingered near a staff entrance, posing as if she were doing late-night hallway cleaning. She had left the door unlatched, as planned. Maya and Noah ghosted in through the back. The corridor was nearly dark. Only emergency lights traced the floor. Hearts thumped, but Maya's training kept her mind cool. "We're in," she whispered into the mic at her collar. "Copy," Sam answered. "I'm on security radio. It's quiet." Maya nodded to Noah, and they moved. They passed storerooms, then reached the server room. The door was locked. Maya tapped the cloned card click. Inside, racks hummed. Noah stood watch by the door while Maya worked fast. On a desk sat about 5 external hard drives, likely video backups. She swept them into the pack. In a corner, a metal case with a tag drew her eye. She opened it various electronics, including several flash drives. Those went into the bag too. Suddenly, Sam's voice snapped in her earpiece. "Heads up guard on patrol, moving along the west wing. Rachel just flagged it. Careful." Maya killed her light. Footsteps whispered in the corridor. Noah tensed against the wall. The steps receded. "We continue," she breathed. They slipped out and headed to Lindsay Harper's office. The card opened that door as well. The office was immaculate. On the desk, neatly stacked papers and a folder labeled 17th of July. That was the date of Ellie's fall. Maya flipped through it fast. A report signed by Harper stating that employee E. Reeves violated safety protocols while intoxicated and, through her own negligence, fell from a height. Attached were copies of lab results negative. Maya scanned them, obviously forged lab forms. She photographed every page and stuffed the folder into her pack as evidence. "We take it all and go," she whispered to Noah. They had barely turned to leave when Sam's voice burst, urgent. "Alert, they're spooked. Someone noticed the back door ajar. Security just said on the radio, 'We've got a possible breach. They're looking for you.'" Time was suddenly thin. "Copy exfil," Maya said crisply. Noah slipped into the hall. They had not gone far when a flashlight beam cut the corridor and heavy steps pounded toward them. "Stop," hissed a rough-voiced Cole Mercer, on duty himself tonight. "Back," Maya tugged Noah aside. "Through the laundry." They dove through a side door into the laundry room. Darkness and rows of hanging sheets wrecked visibility. "They're here," Cole shouted, boots thudding closer. A shot cracked. I shot through Maya, so the guard was armed. There was no time to think. She signaled Noah to duck and crawl through the racks. She, gripping a metal pry bar, rose onto the balls of her feet beside the door. Cole burst in, sweeping his beam. As he drew even with the doorway, Maya clipped him off balance. "Run," she ordered Noah. The paramedic darted past toward the exit. Maya surged after him, leaving Cole reeling. They spilled into the corridor and sprinted for the same service door they had used to enter. Sam was already there. "Move," he whispered when he saw their silhouettes. Maya and Noah spilled outside. Sam led them to the gap in the fence. Noise swelled behind more guards rushing to help Cole. In the dark, they missed the escapees, who had already scrambled over the barrier and sprinted for the SUV. "Go!" Maya snapped, slamming the door. Sam punched the gas. Gravel hissed. The vehicle shot away. A moment later, two guards rounded the corner, one of them Cole, clutching a bruised shoulder. Minutes later, the SUV was winding down the mountain road toward town. Maya let out a breath. In the cabin, a taut silence reigned, broken only by Noah's heavy breathing. "You two all right?" Maya asked at last. "All right," Noah said, wiping sweat from his brow. "And we got the goods," Sam added, nodding at Maya's bulging pack. Maya sank back. Adrenaline still sang in her blood, but the main thing was done. They were out, alive, with evidence. Now we have enough. By sunrise, Marion Glover was already on the phone with the state prosecutor's office. Hearing what they had: video servers, falsified reports, email correspondence, witnesses, the district attorney wasted no time bringing in investigators. By midday, agents from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation rolled into Everglen with search and arrest warrants. From a parking lot across the way, Maya, Sam, and Noah watched as a string of patrol cars with flashing lights streamed onto the resort grounds. The place erupted. Startled employees ran in and out while armed officers filed inside. "They're bringing in Harper," Sam reported, peering through a long lens. Maya rubbed her wrist. She could not sit still, but they were not allowed inside. This part belonged to the authorities. Within half an hour, the first arrests emerged. Two agents escorted Lindsay Harper, the head of security, in handcuffs. She held herself with defiant poise, but the shock was written on her face. She argued with the lead investigator to no effect and was placed in a car. Behind her came Cole Mercer, his arm bandaged, head down and silent. At last, a sleek black SUV rolled up to the service entrance. The owner himself, Ridgway Clark, face twisted with fury. He barreled toward an agent, gesturing wildly. A heartbeat later, officers pulled out another detainee, Trevor Clark. Trevor fought them, trying to wrench free of two burly detectives. "You've got no right," he shouted. "Do you know who my father is?" Ridgway lunged toward his son, but an agent blocked him. "Sir, calm down," the investigator said firmly. "Your son is under arrest on suspicion of serious crimes. We have a warrant." "This is madness," Ridgway bellowed, his voice drowned by the commotion. They walked Trevor toward a separate car. As he passed, his eyes suddenly met Maya's. She had drifted to the perimeter tape, unable to stand back any longer. Hatred flared in his gaze. "This is you," he spat. "You did this, you." Maya held his stare, ice cold. "You did this to Ellie," she said back. "Now you answer for it." Trevor jerked as if to speak or lunge, but they shoved him into the car and slammed the door. Ridgway stood off to the side, chest heaving. Only then did he notice Maya. "You'll regret," he began to threaten, but stopped. Marion Glover stepped in front of him, leaning on her cane. In her 70s, she radiated such authority that even the magnate fell silent. "Mr. Clark," she said distinctly, "I advise you to hire counsel and cease the pressure. Justice will take its course." Ridgway pressed his lips together and turned away, angrily kicking a pebble on the path. Marion just shook her head. She knew his type too well. As the patrol cars filed out one by one, Sam put an arm around Maya's shoulders. "We did it." Noah exhaled in relief. "They're under arrest. Hard to believe." "It's not over yet," Maya said. "Now come the courts and the investigation. But the hardest part is behind us." She looked toward Marion, who was returning to join them. The retired judge wore a satisfied smile. "Maya, all of you well done," she said. I just spoke with Detective Bennett, who is running the case. He says the evidence is sufficient for charges, especially the witness statements. Will Ellie testify? Noah asked. Yes, Maya nodded. She's ready. And Martha will too. Both have protection in place. I spoke with the district attorney, Marion added. I think this case will go to trial quickly and thoroughly. Maya closed her eyes for a moment, letting herself relax for the first time. When she told Ellie the news, her niece cried with joy over the phone. At last, the people who hurt her would face what they had earned. A week after the arrests, Maya, Sam, and Noah gathered again in Marion's living room. Autumn sunlight gilded the mountaintops outside. Ellie joined on a tablet, still pale, but smiling. I'm so proud of you, Ellie said. You saved my life and brought justice. We're just glad you're safe, Noah answered. And that the truth won, Sam added. Maya kept her niece framed in the camera and allowed herself a faint smile. It had been a brutal week, but now she felt a deep, steady satisfaction. Evil had been checked. What are you all going to do now? Ellie asked. Go back to your regular lives? Maya and Sam exchanged a look. Noah watched them with interest. You know, Ellie, Maya said slowly, these stories, sadly, don't happen only to you. How many others have been hurt by Trevor or by people like him who feel untouchable? How many towns where local power looks the other way? We've been thinking, Sam continued, that we cannot stop, that we should keep using what we know, together. You mean like a detective agency? Ellie guessed. More like a community initiative, Noah said with a small grin. Maya nodded. An independent effort that helps victims where the system fails. That sounds awesome, Ellie said. Do you have a name yet? Sam squinted mischievously. How about Highline Justice? Maya lifted a brow. Highline Justice. I like the play on words. Highline for our mountains and for the higher standard of justice. Then it's settled, Noah laughed. We're Highline Justice. Marion Glover stepped into the room with a tray of tea and caught the last words. Highline Justice, good name. Well then, young people, Godspeed. If you need me, I'll help with advice and with connections. Thank you, Marion, Sam said. On the screen, Ellie clapped her hands. You're incredible. I wish you all the luck. Maya looked at her friends Sam, the reporter, Noah, the paramedic, and herself, the former soldier. An odd mix, but together they had become a force. Rachel was already off on a new assignment, and Martha had gone back to her family, knowing her tormentors were facing the consequences. Each had played a part so the truth could stand. Well then, Highline Justice, Maya said ceremonially, raising her teacup, to our first win, and to the ones ahead. Sam, Noah, Marion, and Ellie on the screen raised their cups in answer. Outside, sunlight poured over the mountain ridges, promising a new day and new hopes. And in a house on the edge of Everglen, a small band of kindred spirits stood ready, if need be, to defend justice where others turned away. We called it Highline Justice because sometimes, to see the truth, you have to climb higher. If you want more stories about military skills working in civilian life, stick around.